hello to all you Virgos. This is the yearly horoscope in general for 2017, and it really is in general because this is not an easy task to do, because people do expect this all to be specifically applicable for them, which is not the case, of course. These are general, very general flavors and energies. And let's get started for you Virgos. So what's going on for 2017? Now the good news for the Virgos is that Saturn isn't squaring Neptune anymore. So a lot of you Virgos last year had that, and a lot of Virgos asked me, I have Jupiter in my sign. Why am I not expanding that much? Why do I still feel restricted, etc., etc.? That was because Saturn squared up to that Jupiter at times, and it also squared up to Neptune. So Saturn squared up to Neptune, and Jupiter in Virgo did square up to Saturn in Sagittarius. But that was last year. Let's focus on 2017. So that's over. Of course, some Virgos will still feel the Saturn there, the Saturn energy in your 4th house, but that's necessarily not a bad thing. On the contrary, because now Saturn in your 4th house. So in particular, the Virgos who have planets, let's say, round about 21 degrees up until the end of Virgo. So these Virgos, so that would be the ones that are born around I think the 14th of September. So the very late Virgo, so to speak. Is it the 14th of September? No, it's a bit earlier. Yes, around the 13th of September up until, let's say, the 22nd of September. Those will feel Saturn on their sun sign. But as I said, now it's in combination, Saturn in your 4th and Jupiter in your 2nd, which is a totally different story. Because a combination of that, the 4th house, your emotional stability, your roots, your family, in combination with the 2nd house, which is your confidence and your financial situation, your talents, it is quite steady, that combination. So Jupiter, the planet of expansion, in an area of your life that has to do with confidence, is pretty good. It's pretty good for you Virgos. I've told that already in the monthly horoscopes of the last couple of months, as from October. So that stays, Jupiter stays there for October, then goes into your 3rd house of communication. So the combination of the big planets like Jupiter in the 2nd, Saturn in the 4th is a combination of stability for Virgos, more stability. And it doesn't mean to say that you're not going to have any problems, but you're going to feel more confident, you're going to feel more stable, you're going to feel more emotionally mature. That's Saturn in the 4th, emotionally mature to handle whatever it is you're going to handle. So a lot of you Virgos are really, especially those that I just mentioned, the last degrees of Virgos, they are really going through a very strong maturation process, and also defining themselves very strongly. And that is good. You know, Virgo is a sign of sometimes a bit insecure because it wants everything to be perfect. But when it feels so confident, it can absolutely express itself in a very more authentic way. So, which brings me to Pluto, because Pluto still stays in your 5th house as last year. So that's nothing new there. The only new thing that there is with Pluto in your 5th house of self-expression, so still that authenticity about relationships, love, children, self-expression. There is like no manipulation there. Don't manipulate, don't seduce, don't try to control. That's the word, trying to control all these things. So don't try to control your children too much. Don't try to control your loved ones or the one that you love, because if you do so, it's gonna backfire with Pluto in your 5th house. So and the transformation there for the Virgos, because a lot of you Virgos have Pluto in a trine to your sun sign. That would be the Virgos who's got Pluto, their sun sign around 16 to 19 degrees. So you will feel that the most that you can make a difference. You can make transformations. You've got all the energy to do so, because Pluto is very transformative, and especially when it is touching your sun sign, which is your identity. So there's a whole new, more, not a new, but it's an authentic you, a you that suits you better. You can be more yourself. That's it for the Virgos. Isn't that wonderful? You can be more yourself. And that makes you more relaxed, take it or leave it, that kind of attitude, which is not necessarily a trait of a Virgo, but it's that energy. So Pluto is in good energy for you. The difference is that now Jupiter is going to aspect Pluto in a square at the end of March and in August, but that adds to that kind of expansion when it comes to your confidence. So it goes in peaks, like, and then it is a bit normal, so to speak. Also in March and September, Jupiter in your second opposing Uranus in your eighth. Uranus is not really touching Virgos in a negative way, but it could mean that there are some changes there again, quite drastic every now and then, especially in March and September with your confidence. It's like you're standing very much in your power, and it's like something, and you're being very strong, and you could feel very surprised about that, you yourself, of getting values of other people, and actually of being content with yourself for once. So that's the Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto thing going on. Then we also have Saturn in a trine to that Uranus. So especially in May and in November, there is this beautiful energy between your home, your roots, your emotional stability that I was talking about, and the boundaries that you can set there. This is me, this is you, and not having problems with that. So the Saturn in your fourth house, trining that Uranus in your eighth. So there's like a new psychological understanding as well, on a deeper level, between your boundaries, but also between innovation when it comes to maybe assets that you share with others. Maybe there's going to be some changes there. Maybe you're gonna buy or sell property that you share with someone, or all of a sudden that you get some money. It's certainly not bad for money in general again, with that Jupiter, with that Saturn, Uranus there, and also things that are related to your home and your house and so on. So if you want to sell or buy in those times, May and November is a good time. And another thing is Mars is not going retro, so I'm not going to be talking about that, but of course your ruler Mercury is going to be retrograde 4 times. And it's all in the earth signs. So in January in Capricorn, in April in Taurus, in August in your sign, and in December in Sagittarius. Now I'm not going to get into these because that would be for the monthly horoscopes, but I think the most difficult one is the one in January. And you're feeling that already in December, because that's the one in Capricorn and the Mercury touches Pluto. And when that happens, because Mercury is your ruler, there is some kind of transformation going on. Again, I've been talking about that in the monthlies. It's about that self-expression that I was talking about. It's about you knowing who's with you and who's not with you. This is a very important one. Another very important retrograde is Venus. Venus is going retrograde in Aries, again in your 8th house. And that's during the period of March, May, June, around that time. Again, there's something with Venus there going up and down. There's something about you and your value, or the value that you have from others, that changes. It could also be a relationship. There is maybe a death of a relationship. I mean, not death of a person, hopefully not, but a death of a relationship could be, not necessarily, but could be. And so that you can go on, and it could also mean that you're changing your mind about a person that you were not really, you're changing your mind basically. So that's it. I see this as a year that is very transformative. You focus on your self-expression, Money, not that bad. Relationships, even better. Around October, November, December, because then Jupiter is trining Neptune. So Jupiter in your second house is trining Neptune in your seventh. So that's good for relationships. That's like very compassionate energy and really flowing energy for relationships. But as I said, I think the main thing is that Pluto there in your fifth house, and that eighth house as well, with Venus going retrograde there. So there's a lot of transformation for you going on, but it's not something new. It's a continuation of last year, and it's a lot about you being very real, you being very honest with yourself, having your boundaries, and actually finding freedom in that. Having said that, I wish you a very, very good year, a smooth year. And oh, by the way, the eclipses fall into your 6th and 12th house. So there's going to be an eclipse in Pisces as well in March. So that will be your 7th house. It's a new moon. So for some of you in February, a kind of a shift or a turning point when it comes to relations. But again, I'll talk about that in the monthly horoscopes. So there could be some sort of an ending or a new beginning on another level with relationships. And the other eclipses in Aquarius and in Leo are for you about letting go what is no longer suiting you, and so that you can stay healthy on a physical level, but also on a mental level. So a lot of baggage that you're gonna lose next year as well. So thank you so much, you Virgos. Thank you for subscribing, and see you soon. Bye bye.